What he did in Iceland.
What he did was ill-disciplined, utterly reckless. Give me one good reason to put him in the program, Mom.
I think you just covered them all. It's really quite simple. Bond is a bullet without a target. Let's give him one.
Hi, I'm Hakan Abrak, Game Director on 007 First Light. I know everyone has been waiting patiently to finally see our game, and that's exactly why we're here today. So without further ado, and on behalf of our talented team, I'm incredibly proud to introduce an extended playthrough of Bond's first mission as a recruit. Please enjoy our gameplay premiere of 007 First Light.
This is a black tag operation. So discretion, ladies and gentlemen, is critical.
Now, I could get used to this.
Don't act too impressed, dearest, or you'll blow our cover. And James, do quit your pouting.
I'm a glorified hood ornament. What could I possibly have to pout about?
Sorry if the assignment doesn't live up to your grand expectations. Someone must watch the perimeter. If 009 slips through our fingers, you're the last line of defense.
Exhilarating. Greenway's testing you, mate. That's all. Don't give him an excuse.
The cap looks good on you, though. Really brings out your cheekbones. Take a left up ahead, James.
Backseat driver.
What's that, darling?
Just a frog in my throat.
Halt!
Is everything in order?
Routine inspection, ma'am. Won't be a moment. All clear. Please proceed.
You think if I sold a kidney, I could afford to stay for a night?
I think I have. Stayed here, I mean. A wedding back in 22.
Doesn't sound like something you'd forget.
Well, the hen was in Cannes, so we flew in by private jet. It's dark and we've been drinking, so...
Oh, well.
Can.
At least Sheila will be happy.
Private jet.
What?
Nothing. Darling, nothing at all.
What do you make of 009?
He was the best in his day. That was a long time ago. My guess is he's tired of running.
Greenway thinks we're being played.
And since when do you trust Greenway?
I never said I did.
They knew each other, though. That much is clear. Something to do with an operation called Nightfall.
That begs the question. Did 009 pick Greenway out of good faith or bad blood?
Well, we're about to find out. Pull up. This is our stop. We're live, gentlemen. Switch to comms. Monroe, with me. James, stay.
Save the world some other time, yeah?
Afternoon. Invitation, please.
Blake and Loretta York. Plus the help.
Welcome to the Grand Carpathian. Parking is right up ahead. Mr. and Mrs. York, enjoy your stay.
Much obliged. Oh, they will.
Right. We're entering the premises. Team status?
Nash, delivery area. In position.
Singh, staff quarters.
Ronson, conference wing.
Kingsley, first floor suites. Bond. Bond.
Parking lot. In position.
Greenway, Grand Hall. Switching off comms as instructed. Keep a low profile and don't let your guards down. 009 most certainly won't. Out.
Not exactly the 5-star treatment. No harm in stretching my legs. Bond, reporting suspicious behavior.
009?
No, one of the hotel staff. Strangest looking bellhop I ever saw. He was mishandling luggage.
Are you joking? What are we, the local tourist board?
I guess he had to be there. It was odd. I'm gonna check it out.
You will not. 009 is our only priority. Stay at your post, James. That's an order.
Yes, Mom.
They had poor taste, if you ask me, and got what they deserved.
Pardon me? Need to see a man about a bag. Missed him.
Afternoon, sir. Staff and press only.
Oh, damn. Forgot my press badge.
You're not the first.
Can I duck through? I need to catch up with that bellhop.
Show me your ID and all's good.
Better go and get my ID then.
If you want to catch your bellhop.
Fair point.
Do you think I could get Gretchen Wong's autograph of my daughter after the game? She dreams of going pro.
What's that? That... What the... God... Sorry. Oh, my... What? Let's see. What is... Odd.
The one in the dining hall? Yeah, I tested long ago. Wasn't so hard.
Correct.
You know where it is. Maybe the hotel owner could be.
Besides, I couldn't find a locking.
Gate crashing a black tie event. Haven't done that since final year.
I'm not really a white person.
What?
Ken Banks, penetration tester. I need to have a stern word with your manager.
Good to have you on the team.
Okay, let me stop you right there. I have bets to make.
This guy better be worth it. Don't mind me, ladies.
Good afternoon, sir. Which room is he in?
Dunno, but he's getting an extra mint on his pillow. That's for sure.
Now, let's see what all the fuss is about. There's Greenway. Hopefully I'm the last thing on his mind. What are you here for?
I've got to get back down there. Chose a Scotch opener.
I literally have no idea what you just said.
Kingsley alert. Best not get spotted just yet. Need to build a case first.
Introducing bold tactical possibilities. Catch the momentum.
I see. Bond, status.
All was quiet in the parking lot. No sign of 009. Over. How do you do?
Where have I seen him before?
I think he models for Alexander Dupin.
Oh, right.
Now, where do you go?
This is amazing. Is it your own concoction?
I can't take credit, I'm afraid. The hotel owner has a huge collection of mixology books from the 20s.
Book collector, huh?
Oh yes, his pride and joy. He's got all sorts of antique books on display about the castle and local history.
Wonder if you could help me.
I'll certainly try, sir.
Did you notice the blonde bellhop who just passed through here?
There's a face you'd pick out in the lineup. Probably one of the Temps. He was asking for the directions to the backstage area.
A chess fiend. I knew it.
I'd stay clear of him.
Just need a quiet word. Nothing dramatic.
Looking for these?
Hold on.
Just who the hell are you?
Not now. Eyes on the road. Look out.
That's the car.
It's got too much of a head start. You need to cut some corners.
Careful what you wish for.
Ambulances, watch it. Sheep! You're right! Left! Go left!
Brace! There he is. Clear the road! Hold tight.
Now we're talking.
Right. Who are you really?
Agent Charlotte Ross. I'm with the DGSE. That's...
French intelligence. James Bond, MI6.
Yes, I figured as much.
What's your interest in 009?
Beckett didn't spend his fugitive years on a golf course. That's what you think. DGSE has been hunting him for a long time. This is the closest we've ever gotten, and I'm not letting him slip through my fingers now.
Sounds like we have a conflict of interest.
How about we burn that bridge when we get to it?
Fine by me.
There. Pull over.
No sign of 009.
Plenty of his friends, though. I'm not loving the odds.
I've had worse.
Well, in that case. Get down there, draw their fire. I'll flank them. We need to keep that plane on the ground.
Well, what are we waiting for?
There's that English sang-froid. Bonne chance, James.
Looks like I've got a plane to catch.
Go! Grab the lift off, now! You were warned. Told me you needed a hand! No! I'll take him down!
Can't stay here. Plane's leaving.
Right behind you! Grab the hose! Oh, no, you don't! Not without me! Talk about winging it.
Okay, 009. You're next.
Package secured. Snug in the front. Did you kill the transponder? No such thing on the small radio stations 23 meters out. No one's tracking us. Plenty of time to disappear. Come back for a plan B.
Plane's flying dark. It's all up to me. Think. Need a way to force it down. If I could access the flight control system. Let's make some turbulence. Never a dull moment.
Ready to go. Need to hit your ride!
Hey, I'm Patrick Gibson, and I'm honored to announce that I'm playing James Bond in IO Interactive's much anticipated game, 007 First Light. It's thrilling to be bringing this character to life in the gaming world, and I'm joined by an incredibly talented cast, including Lenny James as Bond's mentor Greenway, Priyanka Burford as M, Alistair McKenzie as Q, Kira Lester as Bond's most fervent supporter Moneypenny, and Noemi Nakai as the enigmatic Ms. Robb.
Bond's world is all about what's seen and what's hidden beneath the surface. You've just watched an extended mission playthrough. No commentary, just a raw experience. We hope you liked it just as much as we loved crafting it for you. But there's more than what meets the eye. In this next section, we'll guide you through how it all works. The tools, systems, and choices that shape the gameplay in 007 First Light. Let's take a closer look.
Welcome to the world of James Bond in 007 First Light. where infiltration and espionage are just two of many spycraft skills. In this mission, our unseasoned but highly trained Bond must track an assassin through a sophisticated Kensington gala. You'll want to blend in with the crowd while scouting for tactical options. Creating a mental map of available pathways without giving yourself away.
Trying to get past you.
Go to the security room. It's first floor, east wing. Staff offices.
Got it.
Bond must gain access to the upper floors, but some areas are off limits, even for those with a stolen ticket.
Sorry, sir. Can't let you through.
Just looking for the bathroom.
Other side of the bar.
Dialogue from other characters can offer clues to the mission's progression. Listening in on conversations is a useful intelligence tactic, potentially revealing opportunities for an easy breach.
If he doesn't make an appearance in the next 10 minutes, he can watch from down here. Yeah, do that. Rob Minkley, Crux Magazine. And you are?
Rob Minkley. Sorry for the wait.
About time, Mr. Minkley. Your miss gave up on you. Right then, go grab your camera, and I'll take you past security.
Photography can be such a negative experience.
Don't recognize him.
First Light provides multiple pathways for achieving Bond's objective,
Looks you enough.
if he's prepared to get creative.
What?
All set.
Follow me.
Bond's gamble has paid off.
The balcony should give you an excellent view of the stage.
Sorry, miss, but this man can't go upstairs.
Relax, fellas. He's with me.
You say so.
I read your articles in Crux Magazine on rogue AI and cognitive warfare.
Hopefully this is a good time to drop in.
You won't always receive the red carpet treatment, so sometimes you might have to take the initiative. In these highly volatile stealth situations, it pays to choose caution over direct confrontation, as everyone can be a valuable source of information.
Saunders. I'll be needing that key card.
Watch it.
What?
That needs a look.
Moments when Bond remains undetected offer the chance to survey hostile areas.
North exit. That's my way out.
Bond can use the environment to his advantage by choosing from multiple routes, exploiting opponents' positions or security vulnerabilities. Depending on the situation and the odds, Bond can always go with a quick and blunt strategy.
Where is he?
Could have played that a little smoother, James.
He got away with it this time, but they could have called reinforcements. Alternatively, Bond can opt for a more elegant style, using the scan from his watch to highlight options for distraction and misdirection.
What was that? I'll have a quick look.
Who sets the alarm? What's wrong with you?
Your Q gadgets are custom developed to be powered by resources found in the environment, so be sure to stock up when you have the chance. Aside from your signature watch, a gift from Q, you'll have other gadgets in your arsenal. The laser fires a direct beam of energy that can be used offensively against targets or tactically on environmental weak points,
Take care of that right away.
opening up strategic options to avoid combat or spring traps. The smoke device confuses and disorients foes, letting you pass through undetected, offering a chance for concealed stealth takedowns. The world of 007 First Light will see Bond face different opponents, some of whom cannot be bluffed or charmed into compliance. Using a dart phone to incapacitate them will give you an opportunity to talk your way out with a charismatic flourish.
First, I asked for Boston's.
Oi, I need to find Saunders. There's a chance the suspect is dressed as security. The bastard could be hiding right under your noses.
I'll keep an eye out for new faces.
But sometimes,
Cheers.
hard as you may try to stay hidden, a fight is unavoidable.
If he was from MI6...
What? Excuse me? Who are you looking for?
Relax, off-duty museum security.
Don't.
Having been discovered, Bond will need to rely on more than wit and charm to contain the situation. In melee combat against multiple assailants, you'll need to think fast. Combining throws, parries, and direct strikes with environmental takedowns and items.
Simon says don't get up.
Sometimes James will need more than his fists to get out alive. When enemies show clear intent to shoot and kill Bond, you will be granted a license to kill. Trained by the Royal Navy, Bond is an expert marksman. His Q pistol firearm is a great conversation starter. Enemies can provide additional firearms. You'll just have to borrow them for a moment. With quick thinking, you can turn the tables on your enemies by making the very environment a deadly weapon. Gadgets used for stealth and infiltration can also be deployed in combat to disrupt enemy attacks or provide further offensive options. Allowing you to fight fire with fire or distract to make your escape. Adversaries come equipped with different levels of armor, requiring either greater ballistic might or tactical improvisation. To support him in challenging situations, Bond can use his own instincts. This mode will help you focus on your most difficult targets. Whether human or environmental, Bond must be fast, cunning, and uncompromising to prevail in the world of 007 First Light.
Thank you for your visit. We hope to see you again.
Somehow I doubt that.
PlayStation.
Beyond and hello and welcome to a very special live edition of IGN's weekly PlayStation show. I'm your host, Max Scoville, and joining me to unpack the 007 First Light State of Play we just saw and discuss a few games we're playing, Jada Griffin and Brian Altano. Beyond, James Beyond.
James Beyond.
Damn it.
That was great.
Wow, yeah.
Good, very good.
Yeah, I feel like I know this is a state of play. I know this game is coming to multiple platforms, but this feels like sort of the natural progression of the DNA of something like Uncharted. Like we were all watching this and we were getting major like sort of single player, third person Uncharted vibes here, and I think it's a lot of it is the set pieces, and it feels like that mixed with a bunch of Hitman DNA. And man, I wasn't sure what to expect from this one. I was excited for it, but I was like, I'm gonna let these guys cook, see what happens. I am all in on this game now. This looks fantastic.
Yeah, it's got such all of the pieces that I want in my action games. It's got that little bit of stealth. It's got that great gunplay. The environmental use, the takedowns, the fact that you can grab people and just kind of push them off of ledges and fall with them. That was a highlight for me. I was like, yes, how many people can I body slam in this 007 game? I can't wait to do that.
I don't think I was expecting it to have quite so much Uncharted DNA, but that absolutely makes sense. For anybody who's like, oh, James Bond is ripping off Uncharted, I would like to point out that without Indiana Jones, we wouldn't have an Uncharted, and without James Bond, we wouldn't have Indiana Jones, because that's what Steven Spielberg made when he couldn't get the rights from Albert Broccoli. So, here we are. Everything goes full circle. I'm getting a little bit of Deus Ex too. Like, yeah, I love that it's, Hitman is all about being sneaky and stealthy, and Agent 47 is all about kind of blending into the background. But ultimately, like, he is, he's the Grim Reaper. Like, he's kind of just, he blends into the backdrop. But like, Bond is a bit more of a personality, and also he regularly just gets loud. And I was sort of skeptical to see how IO Interactive would be handling the action side of things, because you can get loud in Hitman. Like, it's a solid toolbox of ways to kill people, but like the melee in this, I was not expecting to be so robust. Like, it looks kick ass.
Yeah, you mentioned like before the show started, while we were watching, you mentioned Sleeping Dogs, and I was like, yes, that's exactly the vibes. I was trying to figure out what it was. I was like, is it Sifu with the combat? Is it Arkham? Is like, no, Sleeping Dogs is where it's at. Yep. And that's such a great connection to make, Max. Like, the combat looks a lot of fun. The fact that you can pick up the pool balls and throw them at people, like, it's just, there's so many options you're going to get in this, and I can't wait to do that. I think also, based on some of the things they were talking about, it seemed like we're going to be able to have different exit points, meaning the mission can end differently, which is not uncommon for, say, a Hitman game, but it is uncommon for like an action game with a story, where generally you're leaving from the same point, where it's kind of, the ending is kind of scripted. What you do in the middle is up to you, but the fact that the ending is a little unscripted, it seems like, would be really cool.
You know what that reminds me of, Jada? Most people's favorite James Bond game, which is 007, the N64 game, the single player campaign in that had multiple difficulty tiers, right? And based on those difficulty tiers, it wasn't just that enemies were tougher, but you had new criteria that you had to accomplish. And each one of those things had sometimes entire areas that you could only access through a key card that was on the more difficult level. And so I'm really excited to see that kind of stuff unfold here, because it seems like you might be able to do a straightforward playthrough, or you might be able to get a little creative in the margins and kind of mess around and find a whole new way to take things down. Even if, like you said, those story beats end at the same of every chapter, I really like the idea of having this experience that you're James Bond, and it's got this big sweeping story and these characters and stuff like that, but you have a lot of wiggle room on how you want to handle those things in between, because I feel like that's going to create some really funny moments and some really impressive moments, people streaming, people uploading clips and stuff like that. Like, that's what this is all about. Also, it gives you replay value in, was probably going to be like a $70-$80 single player game, so that helps a lot.
Yeah, my big concern, I think, going into this was that it would be too linear, and it still remains to be seen, but I'm considerably less worried about that now, because it really does seem like, there's a point A and a point C, but point B can be a lot of different spellings and fonts and character styles. Like, how you want to approach that seems pretty wide open. And I'm knowing IO, like, with how they handle like Hitman, I really feel like there's going to be a lot of optional objectives, and there's going to be a lot of like, did you try doing this? Did you do that? And I'm dying to see how much Bond I guess reacts to that as a character, because like, I always said that like Hitman World of Assassination is already like a pretty perfect 007 game. The difference is that like the quippy one-liners that Bond says are just the name of like unlockable things that 47 does. Like, they have lots of really corny wordplay that's buried in the menus in Hitman, and I feel like in this case, Bond is just going to fire off like he had that line in there where he's like, photography can be a very negative experience or something.
Yeah.
Yes, just give me that cornball nonsense. I love it. I'm into it. And we got a little glimpse there at the tail end. There was the whole pre-order splash screen, and I think you get like four costumes or something with the deluxe edition. I interviewed the head of IO back at IGN FanFest or IGN Live, and one of my things was like, okay, so like, so much of one of the fun things in Hitman is like unlocking all these weird gadgets and costumes and different accessories and all that. Are we gonna have that? And he was like very hush hush about it. But just based on what they're kind of showing off out the gate, I feel like there's going to be like an entire, legacy wardrobe of great Bond outfits beyond just the, what he's wearing here.
Yeah, they have a very, very deep history to pull from here between all the characters in the movies and the books and all that fun stuff. And it's really cool to see. I think you nailed it, Max, because like you James Bond, Daniel Craig got into it a bit. Those were a little more grounded, but like he is kind of corny sometimes. He drops silly one-liners. That's part of like the sort of appeal of the character is, he's outside of just being like this, trained assassin, hitman type character that, infiltrates international espionage and all that. He's also like, he's trying to get women to go home with him by being, kind of cute and funny about it, and it works for the most part. And so that is the thing that you need to nail for this character. It's also really cool to see, like we've been hearing stories for years about the, what's going on next with the actual Bond film franchise, and they've talked repeatedly about wanting to go for someone younger. There were rumors about Idris Elba at one point, and I think those rumors went on for so long that he was like, I'm too old for this, like get somebody else. And so them going into this franchise with a younger actor is really cool to see, because we haven't really gotten to see anything like that in a long time in the movie. It's just somebody who's just kind of just starting out, just getting their bearings. And to me, that's like you could build a franchise for 10, 15 years, which, in this day and age is only 2 games, but still that's really cool. Like this whole stuff here where you show up to this like gala and there's a crowd this is so like deliberately specifically out of the Hitman playbook, right? And we've also seen scenes like this in Uncharted also. And I love this. Like this is these little playgrounds, these little sandboxes, these set pieces that all come together. This is again, we all knew this was going to be a good idea when we heard the studio was working on it. And the more we see the peanut butter and chocolate in action here, the more I'm like, yeah, feed me. I give this to me, and we don't have to wait that long, which is awesome.
I'm just saying, I'm happy. This is our first Bond game. By the time it drops, it'll be like 14 years since our last Bond game, which has been a minute.
What was it? Was the last one the GoldenEye remake?
It was the 007 Legends, I believe, was the last one we got back in 2012. And from, kind of perspective, game design, game development time, 2012 to I want to say like 96, 97, we had like 14 Bond games in that time period, and now it's 14 years to the next one. So it's kind of crazy. I'm happy that this one looks so good at its kind of initial showing, because this can help bring more fans into these genres. There's like Hitman games are great, and a lot of people play the Hitman games, but there's so many Hitman games, I feel like some people may be intimidated to jump in because they don't know where do I start with Hitman.
Anybody who's like looking at this and being like, wow, jeepers, this looks cool, and they hadn't messed with Hitman World of Assassination, fix that immediately. Those games are... I was kind of asleep on the first 2, because like the first one came out episodic, and then the second one was, I forget, something else came out the same day or whatever, and then 3 rolled around, and it was right after the PS5 came out, and I wanted something like shiny and pretty to just, mess around with, and I got completely hooked and wound up sinking like 200 hours into all those games because they're spectacular. The weird thing is, like, we look at the track record of Bond video games. They've had them for a minute, like the big one being, GoldenEye. And for the most part, they've been just kind of straightforward action games or like shooters, like maybe like a dash of stealth in there. But stealth has always been pretty integral to the character. Like that whole, that level of sneaking around, but also social manipulation, improvisation on the fly. And these are things that are really hard to implement in a video game unless you have an extremely qualified developer at the wheel. And that is exactly what IO is. Like, again, there's a lot of stuff that Agent 47 doesn't do, and it works with his character and it makes sense. And you could do like a straight palette swap and just put a Daniel Craig head on Agent 47 and be like, it's a Bond game. And it would be okay. Like it would still be fun, but it wouldn't quite be fully authentic. And I like that they have kind of, they've retooled things to make it make more sense in the context of the character. Like, you gotta have car chases, you gotta have big set pieces and shootouts, and you also have to have, you gotta have some smooth talk. And like, I like that there are dialogue options. I like that you can BS people. Like you can get caught by like 8 guards and then just be like, hey, sorry, I'm the museum inspector, and I guess maybe you don't always
you charm your way out of it.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah, I mean that is a key trait in the movies. Like it's really cool to see. It's also like we were talking about this right before we started recording today, but this isn't exactly a franchise that like younger generations are completely connected to. Like it's sort of like, we got a really awesome Indiana Jones game last year. We're getting DLC for that game tomorrow, I believe. And they nailed it. They got the assignment, and I don't think the last movie did. And I'm a lot warmer on the more recent James Bond movies than I think a lot of folks are. Max, I know you just rewatched those too. They're great, but I think this was kind of like a boomer franchise for a while that our generations might have inherited from our parents.
What are you
and stuff
talking
like that.
about? Kids today can't get enough of the Cold War. They love it.
So yeah, I do think that this is going to be a lot of people's maybe first exposure to this character, and then it'll get them an opportunity to go back and maybe check out some of the best movies and books. But like seeing this and Indiana Jones both like live on in video game form has been really cool to see. As somebody that like grew up in the 80s watching these movies, and now I get to see these things. And what's interesting is like Indiana Jones is still sort of handcuffed to Harrison Ford. You got Troy Baker doing an impersonation. Bond's never been that way. Bond is historically, like, anyone who's older than 15 has had multiple Bonds in their lives, basically. And so that's like, we get another one here, and that's awesome. Like we've seen Bond games where they were like, this is Pierce Brosnan, right? Very specifically about him, or like they'll have unlockable characters from previous ones. This is a brand new Bond for like a new generation, and I'm all for it. Like, this just looks like a blast.
I dig that it's video game first. Like, it is not, it's not a tie-in with the movie. Like, this is them giving it the proper treatment it deserves. And like, video games since the jump, since day one, have been borrowing so heavily from a handful of movie franchises, and like Indiana Jones is one of them. Look at Pitfall, and then other ones being Aliens, Predator, stuff like that. Die Hard. Bond is a big one. Anytime there's like so many, how many video games have borrowed like cool gadgets? Like the idea of just you want to do cool spy stuff. You want to be like Bond is effectively like the original novels are this kind of this power fantasy of like you are seeing this from the point of view of this suave, arguably super powered secret agent who just always saves the day and always gets the girl and all that. And we've seen that reinterpreted countless times over in movies, but it's so cool to see it like it given the proper amount of intention and gamification it deserves. And I'm stoked on this. Also, real quick, I do want to say I rewatched the most two recent Daniel Craig movies, and I think that pound for pound, Daniel Craig has the best Bond run. There's one key piece of advice I would say to anybody who wants to go back and revisit those. You got to treat Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace as one movie, and you got to treat Spectre and No Time to Die as one movie. Like there's this, it's 5 movies, but there's this weird like 2-part intro, 2-part outro. But the first part flows into the second part, and the fourth part flows into the 5th part, and it's a totally different viewing experience if you actually watch them like that. Anyway,
no, it feels like when people are kind of lukewarm on a TV show as it's airing, but then they go back and binge a season and they're like, oh, this makes so much more sense, or just it was an odd narrative choice for them to do that, but it works when you run them back to back. I wonder if they're gonna do, like, I feel like there's a lot of opportunity for DLC for this, not to like get ahead, horse get ahead of the cart here, because the game's not even out yet, but that's the thing that Hitman did so well, was just to sort of be like, hey, we just dropped a new puzzle box, like, enjoy. Like they can very easily be like, we're doing a mission at like a music theater, or like you're at this outdoor thing.
My big hope, and this is where I love it, we're like, here's what you're getting for Christmas, and you're like, here's what I want for Christmas next year. With Alien Isolation, they did like the original story that was set in the Alien universe, and it was clearly faithful to it, but it was just doing its own thing. And then for DLC, they were like, yeah, but here's the original Alien movie. Like here's a retelling of that in video game form. I hope we get like Dr. No, Goldfinger, stuff like that. Like I would love it if we got little standalone DLC missions, and maybe it's got a Sean Connery skin or something, or maybe it's this current Bond and it's just been retooled a bit to be, hey, here's like a modern reinterpretation of this weird man who likes gold things, or this like,
kind of give it the greatest hits kind of selection, and just, really flesh it out and give the fans something that they love about this series.
I will say my one kind of not concern, but I guess something I'm curious about is how this flows as one cohesive story, because
I wanted to ask you guys about that because like we saw a lot of footage of like it, you know, the state of play started out with like a very slow driving car in what looks like an open world. And if you're a gamer, you're kind of like, oh, can I go off road? Can I go here? Can I go there? And I think a lot of that is going to feel a lot like the stuff in Mafia, where it's just like they built this very beautiful, you know, set, and they let you drive from point A to point B. Maybe there's a little bit of wiggle room. Maybe there's some collectibles or secrets or something like that. But I think a lot of this is going to be like you'll be on a helicopter or on foot or in a car going from mission to mission, and they'll have some, you know, conversations, sort of interstitial unpack that way. But I don't think you're going to get like I really hope people can look at this and understand that this is not going to be like a GTA 5 size open world thing.
No, but
yeah, like, I think these are going to be more used as like transition pieces to get you from, you know, set piece to set piece.
Yep. I don't know why, but I can't stand like expositional walk and talks where you like start off a mission and you just got to follow somebody for 20 minutes. But for whatever reason, if you're doing it in a Jaguar, I'm like, yeah, I could do that.
It makes more sense.
I'm really curious, like, you know, the part they pull up to the gate and the whole thing, you're pretending you're a chauffeur. What happens if you just ram into the gate? Can you do that? Can you just like completely flub the mission by like hitting one of those guards? Sorry, my bad. No, but like the Hitman games, each level is its own kind of self-contained Bond movie. Like they're these wonderful little just capsules, and you know, occasionally there is some overarching story that connects them, but for the most part, what I love about them is that they are these little, you know, they're little, you know, clockwork dioramas you get to mess around with. And in this case, I'm like curious to see how they handle it. Like, is this going to be effectively like, oh, okay, it's a Hitman level, and then there's a cutscene, and then you're in like a, you know, a Forza Horizon stuntman sequence, which isn't an open world race. It's like a very, you know, carefully curated driving set piece. But I mean, yeah, how many branching paths are there in this driving sequence? Because it looks rad, it looks really cool. But again, this is the kind of thing when you're, you know, this is a carefully rehearsed demo showcase of the game, and it's definitely showing its best side. But like, what is it? You know, how much does it hold your hand, or how much does it like punish you for going off the rails a little bit?
They're not.
I mean, it's probably close to like the Uncharted 4 Jeep scene where you have alternate paths you can take as you're going down the roads, but there's obviously optimal paths. There's, you know, things that you'll see if you go down one path versus the other. I think that's fine. I think it's fine that those experiences live like that. I don't need those kind of open, like more open exploration things. Would it be cool? Maybe. It depends on how much of that is actually designed to be cool by the devs. You know, just giving, you know, open road doesn't do much for the game if there's nothing to do in it.
Zero interest in like exploring a big open world as James Bond. That doesn't sound cool to me. Having weird little claustrophobic but still versatile and open levels, like Hitman style stuff, I'm in on that. Curious to see where the set piece side of things goes. You know,
I think we can like glean a couple of details from what we saw in the open-ish areas here. Like obviously, like you guys both just said, we didn't get the part where like the screen turns gray and there's a counter and it says like turn back around, you're in the wrong direction, right? Like every one of those games has. But we did see him drive a truck drive his car off of like a truck and he just landed on the road. There wasn't anything. There was no need for it. You know, he didn't save any time. He didn't trick anybody into thinking he was a stuntman. He just did it because it was cool. And so I wonder how much of that stuff is going to be out there. Just, you know, a little bit of environmental freedom in terms of playing with toys and stuff.
So let's talk about the coolness meter here, because you have this thing on the bottom right here, your instinct meter, which is your little, it looks like your little electricity battery thing.
Your focus.
Yeah, your focus. Yeah. And it slowly builds up as you do stuff. You know, you kill a dude normally, you get 5 points. You blow up an entire airport, you get 14 points or whatever. And it's
the math's not mathing on that one for me.
I'm dying to see how this works, and I think it's a fun little bit. Like one of the things I do love about the Hitman games is like as you play them, you know, there's all these you'll get like little treats. You get little kind of, you know, they'll kind of drip feed you like, oh, you did this thing, you unlocked this thing, you found a new area, and you get like this many, you know, Agent 47 Hitman bonus points, whatever the hell they're called. And at the end of the level, you trade that stuff in, or that stuff gradually unlocks, you know, basically level tiers and things like that. And in this case, it seems like you're kind of using them in the moment, which is a totally different dynamic. And I guess it encourages you to try more stuff and then kind of pay it forward. You unlock some things. You get your your dart gun that gives people stomach issues and they go throw up in the corner. The best feature. I love it.
I mean, that the guy who went to check on the water also at the beginning, that guy took a really long time to go investigate a water spout just to turn it off. I was like, he's just over there just looking at the water spout. Just turn it off, man.
Yeah.
Go back to your post. That was a little odd. But yeah, no, the gadgets and stuff look really cool. I think the focus that focus meter is really going to lend itself well to optimization around like speed runs for people who really get into this game, because depending on what your focus meter, that'll depend on, hey, can you bluff your way through this area and shave off 4 minutes of your time? But in order to get enough focus to do that, you've got to go stealth, take down like 6 people over in this other area, or do whatever other actions that will build up your focus. So I think it's going to be a really cool mechanic and a real good resource to use throughout this game. I think it's going to really change just how a lot of us interact with it. I think we're going to have the potential to create those really cool community stories like, hey, I was playing, the level at the party. Did you do this? Like, no, how did you do that? I think that resource meter is really going to enable those types of stories, which is all the better for a game like this that traditionally are more linear and doesn't get a lot of talk about the levels themselves, unless there's like a really cool level in that single player campaign. You know what I mean?
And like, can you go through that airplane hangar sequence without? Can you do that on a pacifist run? Like, will it trigger a set piece? Like, can you stealth around that whole thing, and or can you do it with no guns and just throw objects at people's heads or punch them in the face? I'm interested to see how much, like, not only freedom you have to do that, but how much they sort of encourage that, reward that. Like, that to me is what's going to make this like even like I'm in no matter what, right? But like stuff like that's going to be really cool to watch if somebody can just do, like they're in a silly costume and they do the whole thing stealth. Like,
so rewatching that airport shootout set piece, it reminds me a lot of GTA 5. Not in the big open world screw around, sandbox stuff, but in the single player missions where you're doing a bank heist and it's, you've got this sort of wide linear, approach. You're going from one big explosive set piece to the next, and there's sort of an idea of how you're supposed to do it. And then you're going to finish it, and they're going to be like, oh, if you'd gotten 15 headshots or taken 0 damage, you would have gotten a gold medal or whatever. And I feel like it's going to be a similar thing here. I'm totally just speculating here, but it does seem like I don't know. Like, does Uncharted has that in like the trophies department, right? But not in.
Their trophies were more of take down like 5 enemies with like a punch as the final blow. So you'd have to soften them up with a bunch of like light gunfire and then run over and punch them.
Sure, but there's not like a thing when you finish a mission that pops up that's like, you could have done this differently. You don't get a report card, right?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I love, call me a nerd, but I love report cards in my games. It's part of the thing I love most about Devil May Cry is finishing a level in Devil May Cry and just be like, here's your time, here's your max combo, here's how much damage you took. And it's like, you got an A.
No, that's what I love about like Hitman is like these prompts where it's like there'll be something, it'll hint at something you didn't even know was possible, where it'll be like, oh, you didn't feed a guy to the hippopotamus, and you're like, there's a hippopotamus, and you got to go find it and feed someone to it, and you get a little hat or whatever. Like, I'm into it. I don't know. I am so excited for this game, and the thing I'm really excited for, and I'm again kind of crossing my fingers, it has a release date. It's out on March
27th.
Do you think it's going to come out in time?
Like on that release date?
You think it's going to hit that release date?
I think it will. I think what we're seeing here, it looks really good. There's a little bit of slowdown in some of the explosions and stuff, but we also don't know if that's partially just due to the live stream. We don't know if how old this build of this vertical slice is. I think it looks very polished overall for everything. We're getting to see a lot of the different gadgets and tools. They talked about the different ways to go through missions. I think there's a lot of like polish here. I think they're pretty solid. We've got, that's 7 months away. That's a little over half a year until this gets here. I think it's going to hit that.
Yeah, I don't want to be, I don't want to be cynical. I'm always skeptical of that. And also, I mean, this is every video game is scared of GTA 6, and I feel like this one is kind of like, it's hey, what's up? We're right here. So I hope it hits that. And Man, I was excited for this, but this like really kind of made me more excited. So,
I like
this is great.
I like the gadgets and stuff we get. We got the little laser used to shoot down the chandeliers. They at one point they zapped a guy in the back of the head with the laser, which blinded him. So I do worry about the the realism.
The realism?
With that. The realism, yes, the reality of it. I mean, if you're lasering a guy and blinding him from behind his head, I feel like it should do more damage. He should probably collapse if a laser is just blinding him through the back of his head.
I mean, while we're at it, if 70 people at an airport shoot at you and they all miss for 15 minutes straight, either you're really good at stealth or like you're a god. But hey, it's a video game, right?
It is a video game. It's one of those things where it's just one of those things you notice and it's like, how did he get blinded from behind?
It's not just a video game, it is a James Bond video game. I want to just call that out specifically.
Yeah.
Like James Bond has been like just really very loosely doing realism for like 70 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's just,
which is great. And I'm not totally like hating on that. I don't want them to change that. I like that aspect of it. I like the very like 10% Looney Tunes that James Bond games and movies can be sometimes. Like the whole plane scene we got here with guys just popping up on top of the plane to fight on the plane. That's very, that's 10% Looney Tunes at this point. Like everybody just starts appearing and then he hops in the plane and everybody else is just like, nope, we're all good. Our guys didn't come back in.
No, we were all laughing when the plane's blowhole opened up and a bunch of men hopped out, and it was like, all right, sure.
Little bad guy closets on the roof of the plane. Why not?
It's great. Sure. I mean, it's it adds to the fun and ridiculousness of something like this. And throwing these guys off of a moving plane is hilarious. Like, there's like 5%, maybe 8% slapstick to may contain peanuts or whatever on the ingredients list when it comes to James Bond, and I'm here for that. Hitman devs, like, they get that in their games too, right? Like you can play those games with like a chicken hat or whatever. So yeah, let's see how silly they get with things here. This, like, I want to say also, like, I don't really care for Borderlands, but with this and the Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Yote state of plays, Sony's done a really good job on like a singular focused state of plays this year with, two of those back-to-back being games I'm really excited for now that show off really well for extended periods of time. And that's not easy to do because like they've tried that before. Other studios have tried that before. Like there was that Starfield one where a lot of us were kind of like, hey, this looks really good. And then like maybe weren't so hot on the final game. But both of these games, I feel like they showed off really well in state of plays and they will be really well received when they release.
Well, it shows a tremendous amount of confidence in the game that they're making, that they're just like, hey, here's 20 minutes of somebody playing. And like, we carefully curated the 20 minutes we're showing, but it's not somebody like chiming in to be like, here's what's going on in the universe here. And if you look closely, you can press X to do this thing. It's like, we know how a video game works.
Or it's like a guy at their computer and there's like this blurred monitor image and they're just talking about design philosophy, which I think is important and has its own place in a documentary that comes out after the game is released.
No, I mean, it's
or like even leading up, but in a separate video.
Sure, yeah.
Like if you want to learn more about how we did this cool thing in the trailer, in our state of play, like we're going to be posting a long form conversation on that.
Yeah.
But to your point, Brian, yes, I'm so happy that they started off with just, hey, here's 20 minutes of uninterrupted gameplay straight through it. And then they're like, hey, so this is what you saw. We're going to explain a few of the little things that you saw there and just kind of how they work and how things can be different. And I was like, that was just
love it.
Like,
I mean, they announced this thing like 5 years ago, something like that. And then didn't show anything since. And that again shows a tremendous amount of restraint, but to have like a cinematic reveal earlier this summer and then come out with this thing and be like, here's how it works. And then, oh, by the way, you're going to play it before you know it. It's coming out very soon, which is just such I'm so happy about that. It just makes I love it. And again, I'm totally prepared to be mildly disappointed when it comes out a few months after the fact or whatever. We'll have to wait and see on that front. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's just it's very clean and to the point. And I'm very into that. Also, we didn't touch on the license to kill thing, but I love that the way they let you, get loud in a stealth game is by giving you a license to kill, which makes perfect sense in universe. But the idea that you could fail a mission up until that point by, doing too much stupid video game stuff, and then suddenly you're like, okay, it's getting a little bit rowdy in here. You have a license to kill, go nuts, get loud. I really dig that. Also, I liked it. In that mission we saw, Bond is sneaking around And he's not just avoiding bad guys, he's avoiding his own team because he's completely, breaking the rules. Like he's sneaking out. He's supposed to be like guarding the car or whatever. And he sees his boss and he's like, ooh, better go this way. And that's just, I don't know. That's a whole interesting layer. Like what happens if you get caught are you in trouble? Are you able to talk your way out of it? He says like, I better go build a case first. And like we get, the kind of mission got cut short before we could see how that plays out. But like, that's a level of, I don't know, kind of adventure game logic I'm really into that just yeah.
Bringing up that, I'm also curious to how other people, like NPCs in the world, are going to react to you doing video gamey things, because as he turns away from his boss and he's walking down the hallway, you see the little drawers and there's the little icons that are like, hey, you can open these. Obviously, they didn't do it in this state of play, but you're a guest at this party, you just start opening drawers in front of people. Are the NPCs going to like react to that?
Well, yeah, they had a little thing in the HUD where I think in the very early on, it's like, yeah, you can hang off of this ledge, but this dude who's sitting here is going to think it's weird. It has like a little yellow thing, which is, I think Hitman games do a similar thing where it'll be like, this is, if you shoot a guy in the head or hit him with a fire axe, like I think everyone's going to get mad at you. Whereas if you if you walk into an area you're not supposed to be in and they're like, hey, get back here, you're like, oh, sorry. And you can stumble out, but they're going to be like a little bit suspicious. Mm-hmm. Again, this studio knows how to do this kind of stuff. And I'm stoked. It's gonna be good.
Yeah. Real quick, our friend Simon Carty, who's been on the show a bunch of times, just published a lengthy preview for this game that he got to check out at Gamescom. And it's really, really good. And also on the article on IGN, he embedded a video at the bottom that you all need to see.
Oh, was it his audition?
Where he basically told what was it? It was the cast of... I mean, he told Daniel Craig basically.
He made an audition tape to be the next Bond, and he showed it to like Barbara Broccoli, like who owns the franchise, and she was just like not having it, and Daniel Craig was like kind of chuckling at it. It's one of the funniest things. But yeah, no, Carty actually went and he visited the studio and got to talk to the devs at IO Interactive. So go check that stuff out. There's a bunch of features up on IGN. We are going to be talking about this game some more for sure, but right now there are some other games for us to discuss. Before we get to that, if you're looking for something to play right now that helps support a great cause, Humble has an awesome bundle going on right now. From now until October 7th, you can grab 8 incredible games for just $14.99, including WWE 2K25, Destiny 2, Legacy Collection 2025, The Plucky Squire, and Return to Monkey Island, and more than that. And every purchase supports Team Rubicon, which is a veteran-led humanitarian organization that unites military veterans, first responders, and civilians to deliver aid where it's needed most. By joining in, you're not just building your library, you're helping communities recover and rebuild. So head to humble.com and check that out. Now, let's talk about some video games, because we have been playing some video games. Jada, you just had, is your review up? Is it, or can we talk about it?
It is not up currently. It is in the process of going up. I'm a little bit delayed compared to Embargo, just because I took it on getting back from Gamescom. So very shortened review period. But Hell Is Us will be my next review that's going up. I'm not going to give the score away here right now. You guys will have to just check into that later. It's a 50. Yes, I gave it a 50.
Out of 10.
Dan Stapleton was pissed when he saw I gave it a 50. He's like, this doesn't fit anywhere on our scale.
You broke our website. It's not even supposed to go up that high.
The 5 is actually just a dollar sign. It's $0. I don't know. I was like, damn, this is what I've got. This is Gamescom brain, bud. But Hell Is Us, it's out tomorrow. I think right now, if you paid for like the early access, you can play it currently. So there are some people already getting hands-on with it. Very solid action, adventure, exploration, lots of puzzle solving in this game. I was not aware that it was going to have as much puzzle solving in this game from the earlier trailers. It looked to be more horror adjacent, with the very creepy and awesome designed what are called hollows in this game, which you can see on screen. Those little creepy looking little white guys. They are just fantastic design. I wish there was more of them in the game. There's not a whole lot of them, but each design is great. It's fantastic. But yeah, I spent a little under 40 hours to finish this one. I cleared, I think, around 75% of the side quests and puzzles or so. So I've still got some to go back and finish post-review. But really enjoyed it. It's got some good build diversity when it comes to your weapons. You've got axes, twin axes, swords, pole arms, a great sword, and I feel like there's one or two other weapon types that I'm forgetting right now.
Jada, clear the air on this one a little bit, because I think a lot of people were like, "This is a Souls-like, with a lightsaber and a drone and Death Stranding, and like what is this game?"
You would not be wrong to assume the kind of lightsaber Souls, like it's even your only outfit choice is poncho, so Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order style.
Welcome back, Cal Kestis.
Welcome back, Cal Kestis. You've got ponchos. You've got a little drone on your upper right shoulder that scans things for you so you can read them.
This is Cal Kestis versus seasonal depression.
Welcome back, BD1.
But yeah, so it's not a Souls game. Mainly in the fact that there's no resource that you gain or lose on kill. For enemies, enemies do not respawn right away on death. So if you do die, but you kill 3 of the 4 enemies in a room, those 3 of those 4 will be dead when you come back. And you just have to kill the 4th one and move on, which was kind of nice. There are exceptions to that rule where there's sometimes these enemies are entwined and binded to each other, and you'll see these like pixel-like creations come out that are called haze, they're good enemies for fighting, but just not on the creative level as the hollows, which was where a little bit of my disappointment came from the enemy variety in this game. But there's multiple levels of that. But yeah, it's not a Souls-like at all, other than managing your stamina on attacks. Each attack takes up stamina.
Hold on. I want to stop you there. I feel like we're totally bearing the lead on this game, and I feel like the game kind of did that itself. And there's an image that popped up kind of recently. People called it out. I think it was on Reddit or something. But basically, there's a disclaimer at the beginning that's like, "Hey, you don't have a magic compass. You don't have a map. This is entirely like you are turned loose in this world. You got to pay attention to what's going on and figure out what's happening and solve these mysteries yourself." And I think that puts it much more squarely in the adventure game department than it does in the action, Souls, horror, survival, whatever it is. And it has combat. Like I was whatever on it when I thought it was a Souls-like. I was not interested. And upon finding out that it's actually about creeping around and uncovering some mysteries and all that, it is a lot more interesting. I don't know. I'm
Yeah, this took a lot of like retraining of my brain, kind of back to like old school games where you didn't have maps, you didn't have map markers, there was no quest log for you to go and look at. You do have like a little touchpad that you can look at that keeps all of your clues and such that you can look at, but it doesn't like, hey, you should go talk to blah, 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 because this clue refers to them. There's none of that in this game. You have to really pay attention to the environment. You have to listen to what people are saying in conversation, because will be sometimes the only hint.
I hate doing that. When's it my turn to talk?
It's the only hint that you'll get about like, hey, I should go look over here. Or, hey, this person was like, hey, I'm really bummed about this terrible act that I did now that the war's been going, and I just really want to remember what life was like before I did this terrible thing. And that's the only clue you get, and you just leave. That's the end of the conversation, basically.
Well, that is Souls-like in a sense. We always talk about Souls-like as being like hard combat, and you lose your stuff if you die or whatever. But like, they also have incredibly obtuse side quests, and also aside from Elden Ring, they don't really have maps. Like, you're kind of just you've got to remember where things are and pay attention. You meet some guy who's at like a lobster shack and he mutters to himself about something horrible that happened. You got to go halfway across the world and figure out what the hell he's talking about. And like, it feels like they're pulling on that corner of FromSoft games as opposed to the combat side of things.
It does have that. Thankfully, you can repeat conversations with people, and talk and get a little bit more details about them. Major NPCs will have like there'll be specific like dialogue options that'll pop up on the left side of your screen, whereas everybody minor NPC that isn't just a like just doesn't bark lines. Basically, if it's somebody you can go into a conversation with, they'll have these right options on the right to talk that you can ask them about the world, you can ask them about the creatures in the world, you can ask them about the two races of people that are currently at war that are causing that is part of this whole overarching world. Another thing I'll say about this game, it's very heavy. It's very dark. There's a lot of imagery of executions, deaths, and like, death, whatever in a video game. But the way that they kind of paint that picture of how people died. There's some really, triggering things for some people. So just kind of be aware of that going into it. There's also what are called there's these giant orbs that will be placed around the map that are called time loops, where it's basically something just vile and just atrocious that happened in this world that was just pure evil kind of manifests into this orb. And when you go into it, you just see this like heinous act that is just repeating. It's just people like being executed, trapped in time forever and ever. And so you have to figure out how to break those loops to free them. And that will generally give you, some sort of key item or a little bit of information more about the world and story. It just depends on which ones you're clearing. So it is definitely very heavy. There's kids that are missing limbs. So like it's really does not shy away from like just how brutal war can be in a country.
Kind of wish it didn't have combat. I mean, I realize that's a controversial thing to say, but like if you're making a game all about the horrors of war, and then it's also like be sure to equip your amulet and your best sword and go and manage your stamina meter as you fight these big ghosts or whatever. Like I don't know.
There's a storyline behind why the creatures are there and what they kind of are. The combat is nice because it helps kind of funnel you from direction to direction.
Well, it's also a video game.
It's also a video game. Yeah. But like, because there's no map, no compass, like you get a manual compass that you can just, so you know which direction you're facing. Cause sometimes it'll be like, you should go look to the Northeast, but you have to like equip it to your little hot bar and then activate it. And it stays up for a few seconds while you run. And then you put it away. The enemies were kind of a good guiding light for me to like, oh, I should go look over there because there's enemies over there. And sometimes I would find a passageway I had missed or a quest line and such.
I'm really into it on that level. It seems like a cool time. It's also, I feel like pretty proudly borrowing from the Alex Garland movie Annihilation. And then also the Netflix German show Dark, which is about weird time loop stuff and people in ponchos and being creepy in barren landscapes. And I don't know, I'm really into that. It's got also a killer soundtrack. So I like what this is doing. I'm happy to hear that it's being received well. It seems like it's I
had a very good time with it through and through. It starts off a little slow, but once you get towards, I'd say about the mid to back half of Act 1, it picks up a lot quicker, and it's a lot. You've kind of, at that point, you've become ingrained of like, oh, okay, this is kind of how this game plays and how this game works. And now I know I need to go talk to this person, or I need to go find somebody around this area to talk to. There's multiple like zones. You get an APC to travel between different areas, which will also reset some of the enemies respawning. So you can also farm them for materials for upgrades. There's a whole upgrade path for your weapons. You can augment them with different glyphs and elements. There's red, green, blue, yellow, which all link to like an emotion like rage, terror, grief, and I believe ecstasy is the yellow one. Yes, ecstasy. You get to do ecstasy in this game, Max. Not really.
Yes, ecstasy, the opposite of grief. I guess it kind of is. Yeah. That sort of works.
Yeah, it is. And those all will change, like your combat style. The weapons will look differently depending on how you upgrade them. So that gives a nice little variety in your builds.
How many unique ponchos are there that can be equipped throughout the game, and are they hidden in crates like in Jedi Fallen Order?
So I only had the one poncho, but I did find like 5 different hats as I played through. So you can put on a hat on top underneath your poncho. Yes. So okay. That was when you look at it, it looks like there is, they say that you can buy additional ones in the store and such. So I imagine there's going to be some microtransactions for if you want to make your character look different. It has no status, has no play on gameplay. It's purely cosmetic. So that's, so I'm okay with that. If that's, if you wanted a golden cloak or poncho, if they have that in the store, go for it.
Sure, why not?
Money if that's what you want.
Cool. Well, Jada has your review is up one of these days. It's going to be out very soon, and there's we also have some tips up on IGN's YouTube, and the guides team has been working on that. Brian, what have you been playing? Anything cool?
Not much, or not anything for this show, but you can check out Nintendo Voice Chat this week to hear me talk about the new Kirby DLC, which I'm loving very much. Yeah, mostly Switch stuff. I think I got back and from Gamescom, and I was like, I think I need a little bit of comfort food, so I did another run through Resident Evil 4, of course, which is just second nature for me. And then I started playing Symphony of the Night, which still rips, the Castlevania game. And so, yeah, if you've never played Castlevania Symphony of the Night, it's on all your PlayStations. It is, I don't know, I just really wanted, I saw everybody getting excited for Silksong, and I don't want to take anything from that. But I tried multiple times to finish the original Hollow Knight. I'm a huge fan of Metroidvanias. It just wasn't for me. And not in like I know I famously went on the show and was just like, I quit Bloodborne and then came back and then it was my favorite game of all time. Like I've really put my time in a Hollow Knight. I respect the hell out of what it's doing. I think the combat's awesome. It's just not really my thing. I might still buy the sequel when I wake up, or just check it out on Game Pass, because I'm itching for a new Metroidvania that's long and meaty and it's really fun. So in the meantime, I was just like, well, let's go back to one of the goats. Let's play Symphony of the Night. And I realized I hadn't finished that game in like a decade maybe, and yeah, it still kicks ass. It's the template for all the awesome GBA ones that came out afterwards, the DS ones, all of which are available in various collections on your pretty much anywhere you play video games. Konami's been really good about like going back and putting those games out again. And Symphony of the Night, I think you can still download like the PS3 version of it on your PS5. I could be mistaken. I know I have it on Xbox. But yeah, it's still an awesome game. It's still one of the best Castlevania games ever made. It's still one of the best Metroidvania games ever made. So yeah, if you somehow slept on that and you're not getting Silksong this week, then yeah, go check out Castlevania Symphony of the Night, a hit game from like 400 years ago.
I love me.
Some say that Melatonin is the Symphony of the Night too.
Wow.
Yeah. No. Anyway,
Wow.
I jumped into Chronos, the New Dawn, which is the Bloober Team's survival horror spooky game, and it is dark. It is physically really dark. And I was playing in the middle of the afternoon, and it was like I was like one of those things where I had to like mess with my the HDR on my TV and turn everything up really bright. And it's like, it's by design meant to be played in a dark room, in a scary room. And I was like, just kind of, I don't know. I should put up more blackout curtains, I guess. But yeah, it was, I don't know, maybe not the vibe right now, but people seem to be digging it. Okay. It's, it seems like a floating around sevens and eights. And it's, I don't know. I applaud like Team Bloober for kind of coming out after Silent Hill 2 and being like, hey, we made a new weird thing. It's extremely weird. It opens with this whole like this sequence where it reminds me of in Blade Runner 2049, where they're like giving him the free association word test or whatever, and they're just firing weird words at him back and forth, and you answer these, and I'm like, it's dialogue options that don't have any context or make any sense initially, which is aggressively weird, and I'm really into that. And then, they turn you loose in this world. And the whole hook for this one that I'm aware of is that they basically pair two of the creepiest things that have ever been in survival horror games, which is the what is it? The crimson head zombies from Resident Evil, where if you don't burn them, they come back and they're meaner or whatever. And then the Rat King from The Last of Us Part 2, where a bunch of, clickers grew together and to make a big super clicker or whatever. And in this case, basically, if you don't burn the slimy guys, they make bigger ones. They merge together and they get bigger and scarier, which is kind of fascinating and again also dreadful. But
I can't wait to play this.
Yeah,
like this looks like extremely my type of ish. This is a third person shooter set in a grotesque horror. This is like this is why I play video games. Yeah. I mean, you can stomp on the dudes in the end. It's anything that's got a little bit of sort of spiritual successor to Dead Space and Resident Evil 4 is my ish.
Yeah.
So yeah, I cannot wait for this game.
It's also just I love the design aesthetic. Like it's very like it's a kind of bleak, alternate future 1980s, I think. And so, you look around and there's just like beige cordless phones, and you're in this like big kind of brutalist, like BioShock Big Daddy outfit pretty much. And it's
I'm so glad our review footage here shows him smacking the mannequin, because if you don't smack a mannequin when you walk into a room with a mannequin, like, what are you even doing? You've got to hit the mannequin.
Yeah, I learned that from Condemned back on the Xbox 360. You see a mannequin, you beat the hell out of that thing because it might come alive.
That's also like, this is the very beginning where you don't know what the bad guys are. So you're like, well, it could be a mannequin. Better punch the mannequin just to make sure.
I had to explain what a corded phone was to my 7-year-old the other day, and that was a new type of horror for me.
Yeah.
It's like there used to be a room in the house that had a phone, and it was hooked up to a wall, and you could only walk 5 feet from it, and people had to take turns on it.
We didn't touch on this. One of the many games that got shown off during Gamescom was the Ilphonic, the guys who do what did they do? Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Friday the 13th. They're doing Halloween. Predator, Hunting Grounds, yeah. They kind of specialize in that asymmetrical horror type thing. They're doing Halloween, and it's going to be set in the 70s around the original Halloween. And, you know, it's got I think they're actually doing single player focus this time, but it's going to be multiplayer as well. But like one element they touched on in like the early talks they were doing is how they had to kind of readjust their thought process, where like one of the things that Michael Myers does is like cut the phone lines. And then one of the things that like players do is try to go into houses and use the phone to call cops, which is like, it's one of those, like, you know, cell phones kind of break a lot of storytelling. Like it makes it just harder to, like, they are kind of an inherent like plot hole vortex. But in this case, I love that it's like people have to be like, oh, I got to go over my neighbor's house and use his phone. Oh no, somebody cut down the phone lines. And that's just, I don't know. I think that's really neat. Like it's
the whole thing where everybody's like, if they should remake Home Alone, and it's like they would solve that movie in 5 minutes with a phone, unless like the wet bandits use like an EMP on his neighborhood to like disable, you know, comms from a satellite level.
Yeah,
Which
they have like
they
have a ring cam. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, it would be over so quickly. So no, this was one of my favorite announcements at a Gamescom, and I did the thing where I was just like, okay, Ilphonic's making it, which means it's going to play really well and it's going to look really cool, but it's ultimately not going to be for me because it's going to be like a asymmetrical multiplayer game. And then they were like, we're doing a single player campaign, and I was like, day one, day zero, whatever, take my money. Like I love Halloween. Even like the worst Halloween movies are fun for me. I love Halloween just as a concept. Like I was at Spirit Halloween 2 days ago, I think, like the day they opened, and I was like, cool, they have a Dilophosaurus mask now. This place rules. So like even like the worst Halloween movies are fun as hell to me. And so like playing a game that's sort of set in the original time period, like these guys know their stuff. Like this is, and it just looks great. It's got a really interesting art style to it. Like it's almost a little like 5-10% telltale, where it's got like a little bit of like, you know, pronounced line work around the edges of some of the characters.
I think this is, I don't think we've seen gameplay yet. That's like a, you know, CG trailer, but they're clearly not leaning super hard into realism, which I kind of dig. I don't know.
I missed this one completely during Gamescom, so this is kind of a cool idea, and I like that they're doing the single player, because like you, Brian, I'll play those 4v1 asymmetrics, you know, Dead by Daylight and et cetera, but it's one of those ones I just can't get into for very long. It's one of those things I'll play for like a week or two, and then I'm just like, I'm over it. It tends to feel like the same thing too much for me. So having a single player thing is something that will get me to consider trying this one. I'm not the hugest Halloween fan, but the single player campaign is appealing. I do like that aspect of.
How do you feel about the holiday?
The holiday is great.
Not
I get
the
lots
movie,
of candy. Lots of candy.
Wait, the movie The Holiday? The one with Cameron Diaz?
That one too. That's also,
Winds of Santa Ana?
A good movie.
Halloween The Holiday.
It's also good. Probably top five for holidays for me.
I'm kind of whatever on Halloween. Like I respect it. I'm a very big John Carpenter fan in spite of that. And John Carpenter is involved with this in some capacity as like an executive producer, I think. And I don't know if that means that they like, you know, they show him some gameplay and he yells at them over Skype or whatever, or if he's actually like giving them notes on how, you know, what Michael Myers does or doesn't do. But I don't know. I think he's also, I think he might be doing some of the soundtrack maybe, which is also cool. I don't know.
He gets a big check no matter what, which I think he's gone on record as saying something that is very important.
I like, he's such a wonderful, like crotchety old man. There was some, I think like, junket interview or like red carpet interview we did with him, and we're like, oh, Jan, can we ask you a question? And he's like, one question, and they're like, what are you playing? And he's like, he was like Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and they were like, "Why?" And he's like, "One question," and like walked away.
I want to shout out another one of my favorite stupid IGN videos, and I do this every time John Carpenter comes up. But Nintendo put out this thing called the Labo a couple years ago, which feels like a fever dream. Yeah, it was this cardboard construction set, and they made a piano, which I bought, and it's a piece of crap. And we got John Carpenter to play. Oh my God, you pulled it up so fast. We got John Carpenter to play the Halloween theme song on the Labo piano, and he's just so mad at how bad it is. It's great.
I love
so
John
go watch
Carpenter.
that.
I love that we have the access to do these dumb things with these very important and like influential people. And we're like, hey, play your theme on this really shitty like video game piano.
Hey, Jim Lee, we got a UDraw tablet. Can you make something for us?
John Williams, we need you to play Wii music.
Gordon Ramsay, we got a Play-Doh Fun Factory. What can you do with it?
You guys are pitching gold right now.
Anyway, yeah, thanks for hanging out. This is great. I am very excited about First Light. I hope we get to talk about that more soon.
Yep.
But we'll be back next week with more Beyond to talk about all those things and the stuff. And thanks to everybody who joined us live to tune in and talk about the games and hang out and all that. And that's the end of the show. Beyond.
James Beyond.
Beyond. James Beyond. That's so dumb.
It's so dumb, but it's so good. I love it.